Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Sarthak Show, where we discuss about tech, career, product, and life. And today we will try to understand about SQL tutorials. So in the previous videos, we learned about databases, the command like create database, use database, show and drop database. I will put link here somewhere. You can check that out and learn more about that. And today in today's video, we will try to understand about create table as a command. So we have created a database. Now we have to create tables in that database. How we can create a table, what is the construct of a table, and how you can write the correct syntax. So that is the preset for today's tutorial. So what happens basically, right? That is the question at hand. So what we will try to understand is that what is required to create a table. So generally, if you see that a table will have multiple columns, right? So let's say there is a table like student. So there will be student's roll number, student's name, class, section, date of birth, multiple entries that will be against a column name. So we need to define a table which will have a unique name. And then again with that name, you will have to define certain columns, what data you want to enter. So whenever you want to make a table, you will have to specify what is the name of the table as well as what are the columns. Now, if you try and think about it, roll number is generally, let's say, assuming in our space, roll number is numeric by nature. Name is alphabet only, while mobile number is also numeric by nature. There would be certain things which are alphanumeric, something. So there are multiple data types available. So whenever you define a column in a table, you will have to define a data type associated with this. So we have certain syntax which shows what is the database of that column. So for example, let's say I defined a column name, then I can have to write it's of data type char, which is like characters. If let's say that column name is mobile number, then I have to define a data type which is int by nature. Let's say I'm also writing something like maintenance fee or something. It could be exist in decimal. So right, we will mention decimal as well. So this is how you define the data type. Now the next part, what you can also do is that you have to define the limit. What I mean by limit is that you have to define how many characters are allowed in this column. If you do not specify limit, a user can enter a name, let's say 500 characters. But in real life, you don't find a person with a name of 500 characters, right? You know, like 20 characters, 25 characters, 100 characters. I'm just randomly saying some numbers. So this is how you know that for this column, you know this is the digits that you're going to use. For example, something like a column which has precise decimal values, you will have to specify digits that can come before decimal, comma, number of digits that can come after decimal, that you have to define in the decimal data type as well. So we'll try to understand with a simple command, which is like create table. Create table. Now what you have to do is you have to specify the table name. So what I will do is table name, right? And now parenthesis open, what we have to define is basically what are the names of the column. So let's say column col1, comma, no comma, but just a space. So just give this column 1 space, the data type, which has to be used, right? And now this has to be a comma separated values. So column 2 space data type. Okay, and now so and so forth, which is what we are going to do. And after that, what you can do is just end this command. So this is a specific command which we are going to use. Let's start by creating a table. So turn on your terminal, turn on the commands, and let's jump right into it, right? So what I will do is I will write a simple query over here, create table. Now I will name this table as test table. Okay. And now what I will do is I will try to mention what all are the columns name. So for me, I will have one column as name, um, which is of type character, and with the character, I will have to specify the length of that. So what I will do is char 20, okay, comma. Now let's say the other column name is um, roll number, which is, let's say, student ID, roll number. Okay, I will write int, and then I will also specify what is the range. So for me, the range is, let's say, 5 numbers. Okay. Next column could be for me, what could I do? What could I do? Let's say some precise value column. So I will say precise value column. Precise value. Now I will use decimal. And with this data type decimal, what I will have to specify is basically number of digits. So I will write, let's say, 10, 2. What will this ensure? That this column precise value will have a number max limit which has 10 rows, 10 digits up before decimal and 2 digits after decimal. Okay, and then there is a last column which is, let's say, address. It is of type varchar. So varchar is the type of the data type, and I will again specify limit as 30. And this is how many I have to create the columns. Now what will I do is I will end this command and run it. Okay, what it did was basically it created a table with name test table with the columns name, roll number, precise value, and address, and every has a specific type with them. So we decided like this is this. Now if you want to understand like what is a table that you have created, what you can do is there's a special queries for that to understand the description of the table. So to understand the description of the table, what you can do is the simple command desc and the table name, which is table name. With this query, what will it ensure? It will give you all the description about the table. So let's try this with our table desc table name test table. See, now you can see, right? There's a field which is specifying what is the column name. Then there's a type which is char, int, decimal, varchar. And then we are also defining something like it's null or not. So we will come to these things later in the videos. What is null, what is key, what is default, what is extra. But this is, you have to understand that we have created a table. Now, in this table, what we can do is we can define certain things. So what you can do is, let's say there's a table. A table of students cannot have an entry, a row without a name, right? The person has to have a name. So you can say that this entry cannot, it cannot be null. So what you have to define is a special parameter that this column is not null, right? So what here it ensures that null is yes. That means we can have blank entries. While making entries to this table, it can have blank values. But if you don't want that, we have to make it not null, which will ensure that no nullable values can come into this table for this specific column. Now key. So there are various type of keys. We'll cover that keys in a separate video because it's a good topic which requires in-depth knowledge and everything. I will cover all types of keys, primary keys, unique keys, foreign key and all that in a separate video. Now let's come to the default. Again, I will cover this command in the next video, but this is to give you an idea that we can also set some default values. So whenever, let's say, a student is getting entered, I want to give them a default value of date of birth as 1st January 2000. If I want to give that, I can set a default value against that column. So right now it's null, but you can have a default value. So this is how we define things. This is how we create a table. I'm sure that you got to understand how you can create a table and how you can take a description. So there are various types that you have to understand. Whenever you are creating a table, you have to define the data type of that column as well as number of elements that you want in that. So you have to put certain limits. It could be char with certain limit of 20, decimal, varchar, int, that you have to define certain limit. That is required just to understand if that is making sense or not, right? I hope you got to understand this thing and you got to create a table and define it. Let's start by creating one more table with not nullable fields. Let me just quickly write the command, create table. This time I will give name, table name. And bracket open. I want to give column 1, again data type, comma, column 2, data type. Now you just have to mention it is not null. So this command not null have to be used. You just have to write this specific word, no quotes, nothing, just space not null, and you can enter more columns. And this is how you will create a table. So what I will do is I will just give you an example by creating a separate table. Create table students space name, which should be varchar of, let's say, 25 characters. Again, I will specify ID, which could be the roll number or the student ID. I will write int, let's say I want to make it 10 characters, 10 digits. And now I just have to write not null. Okay. And then this is closed string. Again, we created this table. Now let's understand and see what is this table created. Students. Okay, students. So this shows that there are two fields, name and ID. One is varchar, which is nullable. The other is this ID, which cannot be a null value. So you will always have to enter a value again with this. In the next set of videos, we will try to understand keys, the default values and extras. I hope you liked this video, enjoyed this video and got to understand this. I will push all the code on my GitHub. You can check in the description box below and look all these strings and keys over there. And we'll try to understand more in the next set of videos on SQL. So stay tuned for that. And also one new update, Newton School has started their own full stack development course where you learn full stack development from scratch. There is no upfront fee right away, and they will also help you build projects, awesome and cool projects, and then get placed at startups and MNCs. So check that out. The link is also available in the description box below. You can check that out. And till then, take care. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.